Hi guys, so the first video that we're going to get into in these specific sun signs individually is going to be Aries. So let's get started. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. So what you need to realize specifically is that the zodiac is kind of seen as like a cycle or like the journey of life. So Aries is that first, like firstborn child, fresh out the womb, or whatever, however you want to describe it. And they're the first to be exposed to this world. So if you meet an Aries and you're automatically thinking like, oh, that person's very childish, or that person's very naive, Aries is that first sign. So they're the ones that are first exposed to everything that this world has to offer, the good and the bad. So just think about that when you're interacting with an Aries. And let's get into Aries qualities. So we talked about the masculine and feminine signs in astrology, and we know that Aries is a masculine sign. If you didn't know that because you're new to watching this video, I will leave a link in the description to that video where it explains both masculine and feminine, and also every other different sets that are important to know about a sign. For example, if they are a fire sign, if they are a cardinal sign, modality, whatever they fall under, all of that will be in the description also, so you can always refer back to that if you need to catch up. Anyways, so we know that Aries is a masculine sign. What does masculine sign mean? Meaning that they are positive and forceful. We know that their triplicity or element is fire, and that leads them to be more extroverted and passionate in the way that they go about things. And then we're going to get into their ruling planet, which is Mars, the ancient god of war, which rules aggression, conflict, and passion. They're ruled by Mars, the god of war, aggression, and conflict. And I know those kind of sound like negative terms, but we also talked about how those terms can be very positive. So you can refer back to any other videos where you see Aries in the front, like Aries polarities. It talks about how even though you have that Mars influence, you can use that for the good. So refer back to that video too. Anyways, we know that Aries is ruled by Mars, and we're going to talk about the key traits that are linked with this sign. Aries are very active and energetic, and they are very optimistic about trying new things. Remember that they are kind of like the child of the zodiac, and if you've ever met a child that hasn't been exposed to like any type of like trauma or anything like that, that may make them a little bit more reserved. They always want to try new things. They want to hop into something and test the waters, and Aries, being that first sign, is the sign that is dedicated to doing so, since nobody else could have done it for them since they're the first one. Mars allows Aries to be courageous and also passionate, and those are the good qualities opposed to the bad, maybe aggressive, conflicting qualities that may come from Mars too. Like any side, like anything, there are good and bad sides to any influence that may have on a sign. It's about developing themselves and using the good qualities and or manifesting those bad qualities into something that can be useful. For example, you may think that somebody is super blunt and that's a bad quality, but you can manifest that into be very straightforward with somebody and explaining something in a way that they can understand fully. Okay, the Aries glyph kind of looks something like this. I'll insert a picture. I don't really know if I'll be able to like draw it onto the video, so if I can't do that, I'll put a picture and it'll be like right here. So that's the Aries glyph. It kind of looks like a ram head because that is the symbol of Aries. Aries is represented by the ram, which is why their glyph may look like kind of like those horns that come out of the top of the ram's head. And a way that I like to remember the animal that represents Aries is that a ram, if you ever heard of it, it goes straight forward, head forward into something with all of their force. And that's kind of how Aries manifests, is that passionate energy that they have, straight forward into something, head first, straight in, like no bullshit. It's like all or nothing with an Aries. So we know that Aries is masculine. We know that they're a fire sign. They're represented by ram. But let's talk about these dates. Aries is going to be from March 21st all the way down to April 19th. After those dates, you will be a different sign. I specifically do not believe in cusps. I feel like if you feel like you have a lot of energy from another sign that is either on either side of you, so like if you're Aries and you feel like you have a lot of Pisces qualities or a lot of Taurus qualities, that can be reflected somewhere in your chart. I don't believe in that cusps, particularly having that influence. I feel like that can be shown somewhere else in your chart. So for this videos and any other videos that come based off of these dates, you are an Aries. And so let's keep going. Dominant keywords for Aries is I am. So Aries is that first sign, so they're the first sign that is going to expose us to specific characteristics surrounding a person. So Aries is going to be that sign that is specifically like I and their polarity sign is Libra. So if you don't know what that means, refer back to this video that I will put in the description, and I will explain that for you. Basically saying that Libra is the opposite sign of them, considering that Aries is the first sign and Libra is the 7th, and there are 12 signs, whatever. I know that sounds a little bit weird because like, why wouldn't it be the 6th sign? But it works out. You'll understand if you watch the video. Aries is a sign that is more like me first, and if you've ever met an Aries, you might be like, yo, that's so right. But like I said, since they are the first sign, they're kind of like, it's like innate for them to be like, I'm first, because like, what else, who else would be first? Aries have a tendency to strongly project their personality onto other people. So if you've met an Aries, and that also can be influenced by the fire sign qualities of them. But if you ever met an Aries and you feel like, yo, you're just too much, like your energy is too big for me specifically, that's why. It's just a quality that they have, much like any other sign might have a quality that you don't really vibe with, you know, take it or leave it. Aries people are ruled by the head. So you might meet an Aries that may have a lot of problems with their head, whether it be physically or mentally, or, you know, like if an Aries is in a bad place, they might say, oh, I really have a headache, or like I'm feeling a little bit dizzy, like that. And you may see that with other signs too. So it's kind of cool tidbit to know. Aries is ruled by the head, the cabeza. So they may also be subject to a little bit of injury surrounded by the face too, or, you know, anything here. Specifics on the face, you may see that those are linked to other signs, like maybe like the ears or stuff like that. But just know, like, you know, small cuts or anything they may have to do with injury surrounded by the head, that's more of like Aries, because Aries is ruled by the head, or Aries rules the head. Aries might be labeled as being a little bit impulsive, or or less responsible with their decisions. But like I said, they are that child, and they're going to go into something full force, maybe before even like planning something. But if you are an Aries that plans something, that can be led to, you know, maybe you have more earth or more other qualities in your chart that can lead to that being something that's a quality you have. So what are some key words that you can learn to associate specifically with Aries, or certain signs, specifically Aries? Aries are active, energetic, optimistic, straightforward, head forward into something. They are passionate, naive, a little bit combative, and impatient, but nonetheless, they are a very great sign, and they are the people that you might go to if you want to experience something new. They'll always be down for the cause with you, unless they're like, oh no, that shit's stupid. But like, you know, any sign can say something stupid. Aries are those leaders, and they are very assertive. They're the first in line. They're the first to start something, and they're going to be leading other people through that themselves. They're very direct people. They're not exactly as complicated as other signs you might meet, because they're the ones that are first exposed to everything. So everything that they're being exposed to is not exactly manifested. For example, like, let's say you meet an Aries and they do something, and like, you know, like it backfires on them, and you feel like you're not learning from your mistakes. Like, that's kind of Aries. Like, they're just constantly trying new things and being exposed to new things, and they're not going to dwell on something so much that it becomes like a major key part of their personality, because they're complex but they're not complicated. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, they have a lot of layers to them, like any other person, but they're kind of like go with the flow people. So they're not going to be like constantly thinking about, oh, remember when that happened? No, they're like, let's just move on to the next thing. They're very bold and spontaneous. That might also be reflected in their style. So if you've ever met like an Aries rising and you feel like maybe they have like a big head, you know, Aries rules the head. But I'm also talking about just like style wise, like the way they dress or things like that might be very bold. That's very natural for an Aries to just automatically be like that. You might look at them and be like, yo, that outfit's kind of fire. Like, that's bitch in Aries. So Aries is either super loud or super quiet. Like, there's no in between with an Aries. They're either all or nothing. Like, that's just them. Their modality is cardinal. So those are the ones that are initiators. They can be a little feisty. So some famous Aries are Mariah Carey, Sarah Jessica Parker, Lady Gaga, Jackie Chan. People that are very big. Like, you might be like, oh, that makes sense. Like, Jackie Chan is an Aries. Why is he? No wonder he's always fucking flipping off walls and shit. Mariah Carey's an Aries. No wonder she's singing her heart out. And everybody knows who Mariah Carey is. Like, you can't avoid an Aries. Okay, Lady Gaga, she's such a big person in like the social media realm. Like, a lot of people know who she is. Singer, when she came out, that bitch was fire. Her outfits were fire. No one could miss her. Like, you know what I mean? Those are very Aries-like qualities. So I hope that gave you a little bit more information about an Aries. So we're going to get into the next sign, which is going to be Taurus. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for visiting Planet Jayy. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. And if you are old, you know, keep watching my videos. Don't forget to like. And I promise I'm going to keep giving you this valuable content to help you learn more about astrology. So, bye guys.